I want to start with something that I already picked up on, and we're going to have another one full day before Pluto is finally ingressing into Aquarius. And that's something I noticed even before 2008. I was really introduced to that. And that is the way a person like me operates. And there are many indications of that. I guess Uranus in the 10th would be one of them. A well-established Venus in hard aspect would be another. For example, I have a Venus in Taurus, but it's opposing Pluto and opposing Saturn. A Mars that is deeply watery could be, okay, or retrograde Mars. A lot of retrograde planets could be. Because what happens is that the way a person like me operates is, let's say, if I meet a person, whether it's dating, whether it's job, whether it's whatever, I meet them, I give them a full credit. Okay, you're a stand-up person. Okay? And it's really going to take a lot for them to show me otherwise. So I'm going to give them the full credit, but the thing is, if a person shows me otherwise, they have knocked themselves over before anything is said. So the way a person like me would be used, let's say by those forces that try to operate in the world, and like I don't consent, and I never consented to be like intelligence or something. But you gotta understand, these people follow people, okay? So the way a person like me would be used is like, if they want to take down a person, okay, that's behaving in ways that are antidotal to healthy relations. And that depends on whichever relations, okay? They could be a boss, and it could be at the workplace. They could be a partner, and that could be at a partnership. They could be like anything, anybody, okay? Or groomer or whatnot. Okay, so they would juxtapose a person like me with a person like them. And they have a plethora of ways to do that I'm not aware of, okay? So what would happen is that, let's say, the way I would operate is that I just by being myself, okay? Just by honoring myself, loving on myself, tending to, if something's wrong, I tend to fix it, okay? Just by being myself, I expose whoever's not doing that, okay? That's the way I operate. I'm just this kind of like a parameter in the equation, and we're gonna be in Pluto and Aquarius. So Aquarius is a lot about equations, okay? So I'm that parameter in the equation was like, I'm loving on myself. I'm respecting myself, okay? Now, it might not look like what people would expect, okay? It might not look like outdated notion of respect. It might not look like what other people do to save an image, because I do it from the essence, from the inner out, okay? I'm very authentic with myself. That's the thing. So the way a person like me operates is like, they would put a person like me, and then they would put it next to a boss who's misbehaving, okay? A person like me would expose that dumb fuck and take them down. Now, by doing nothing other than living my life. Very simply put, okay? Like, you mess up with my life, then I expose it. I invert your magic. If you try to invert my magic, I invert your magic to something benefic. Okay? Now, if you take that benefic and you work with it and you run with that, you could be transformed, okay? Your life can be transformed for the better. But if you insist on those ways, okay, and you know what these ways are, then you're going to get taken down, and a person like me is being used to juxtapose to another person like that, in whichever circumstance or whichever situation, because I'll be the one to take them down. But the thing is, I don't come to take anybody down. I just live my life. So you see, if you encounter me in whichever situation, whether it's on the web, off the web, in energy, astral, whatnot, you gotta remember the energy, because if you run into energy like me, immediately you gotta change your ways. Immediately, unless you are completely authentic and honest with yourself, then I will only increase your wealth, okay? But other than that, this is a roll call. Like, you must change your ways the minute you run into me. If somebody sends you a picture of me, and that could be a decent picture, because people may have been taking photos with satellites and stuff, okay? Or whatnot. Like, there's a lot of stuff, okay? So you might think to yourself, you ran into an image of me or my energy or whatever, Okay? Immediately you must change your ways. Why? Because what the motive behind this is not that somebody's trying to correct the world. It's like, hey, I expose your corruption. Now they're going to use what you did. And they're going to expose you. Then some other dumb fuck comes. Right? So, even if I don't consent to do like sex espionage and all that dumb fuckery. Okay? I don't consent for that. Okay? I just live my life. You better be right with me, okay? Because I'm not wrong with anybody. Like, I'm right with you. There's no reason for you to be wrong with me, right? But the thing is that they may put me in situations, okay, whether it's housing situations, work situations, or something like that, and it's like kind of like, all doors closed, so that one is open. It's like, okay, let's enter the door that's open, and you enter the door that's open. You see what can you do right in this place, okay? And you don't know that the other doors were closed because they were framing you and this and that and that. And then that other guy was saying, yeah, take this person, take this. And every place I worked in, there was somebody trying to fix somebody, okay? Every place I worked in. When I was in a credit card company, my boss, we were a gay person, okay? It was nothing like, it was not trying to grope me or anything like that. It was my boss, completely drunk in a party, and then telling me, at a credit card company, tell me, they told me about you. When I just came there, they told me about you. And I thought that's dumb fuckery. But then I saw you and I was like, you all the things that they told me about you. And they told me good things about you. Okay, because I'm like, people are people, but you are something. And he was gay. He was not meaning anything other than what he was meaning. Okay, he understood who I am. And so, that's the thing, whether you meet me in energy or whatnot, if you encounter my energy, I don't care if it's some Pornhub that you watch or somebody took my photos and put it like they did to Elon Musk, okay? Okay? Like really, they took his photo and put it on a girl with a bikini, okay? They can take my photo, do whatever, okay? If you ran into my energy, you run into this video, whether you ran into my energy, whether you ran into my text, whether you ran into my, me as a tenant, me as a person, me as a this, me as a that, me as a, I don't know, whatever, in the hospital or whatnot, I don't know, wherever you ran into me, across the web, or my mind, or anything, or my ideas, or my energy, my time, my footprint, whatever, okay? You gotta check with yourself what this encounter is about, because very likely, if you are on the wrong, this will take you down unless you change immediately. Or tend to change immediately. Okay? I'm like the toe corrector that I wear. But even before that toe corrector, I'm like the toe corrector. Okay? This is who I am. This is who I am. This is part of the footprint of my energy. Whichever way they try to use it, this is what I do. Even if they try to put me on the wrong. Okay, they try to put me on the wrong. They try to put me to do wrong. I fix it. Try to put me to politically assassinate someone. No, I tend to political assassination prevention. Try to put me to sex espionage. I expose for the way the sex espionage is done, that it's all sex work, and all that to do with the real estate, and all that to do with the laser dumb fuckery. Okay? But I also tell you that if you let your daughters, okay, be raped and call that wedding because it's a good family, you're going to a Holocaust. So, as Pluto is making his final moves in Capricorn, and what was, okay, I've been in a lot of jobs, I've been in a degree, I've been in a lot of social media groups, I've been around, so you may have run into my energies, maybe karma for you, there's maybe nothing I can do about that, and I probably don't even know about that, okay? So the thing is, you might be pissed off, don't get pissed off at me. A, get pissed off at your ways. B, understand that very likely the juxtaposition of where it was arranged by people that I'm probably tending to. Right? You get with this MK Ultra or whatnot. Okay, so you gotta understand it, because I'm like these correctors. Okay, you gotta correct your ways when you run into me. Okay, you gotta correct your ways. And you gotta tend to that as soon as possible. If you do that, you gain great wealth with me. If you do that, it's not about me. Okay, I just live my life, and you ran into me, and you gain great wealth. I had a lot of, people, men and women, couldn't get pregnant. Okay? They ran into me, something happened. So sometimes they had to let go, or they cared for me in a certain way, and then we would get pregnant. Some with a girl, or something like that, okay, or something would happen, and I'm like the correctos, okay? Sometimes I would tell people, or like a family is about to have a child, and I run into something and I don't even understand why. It's like I'm arguing. Next thing I know, they have a son. Next thing I know, they have a daughter. And what the conflict of the chart, of the person, of the child, of the this, of the that, okay, they are all tied in with the lining of the family. I remember one of the cases, there was a child that was born in hour 5:55, 5:55 change. Obviously, what that child is going to create tremendous changes in their own life and in people's lives. Also in my life, that's the first child that I held, the infant that I held in my arms. And then I did the 2 COVID shots because of this child, okay? And then I saw what it was doing for the system. Okay, then I went to curate that. 5:55. That's it. And that's the fertility thing. Okay, then I was targeted, then my teacher was targeted, then the person who's doing these talismans was like, I didn't understand her reactions. It was like so weird. And I was like, what's going on there? And I was like, oh, she was doing the Tema Mundi. Oh, the Tema was the birthing chart of the world. That's curating the essence of the cult curses, which is about fertility. Okay? So my ex-psychologist got pissed off. He was reading my Facebook post without my knowing that. Then he got pissed off to try to get at me for things that I didn't even know that he read. Okay? But it's very simple, because if your job in the cult is to pinpoint which children are kidnapped to satanic ritual abuse, and you're a father of 2, and you're MK Ultra, and the minute I show you my child self, you try to, torture me to recruit me, okay? Then of course the dumb fuckery is going to be exposed. It's a juxtaposition. It's like the correctos, okay? You got to correct yourself. That's what I said. Okay? And so if you are the person that's running into my energy and you notice something off, whether it's about your life, your behavior, this, immediately tend to that. And even make a wish to tend to that. Because what's going to unfold is me being who I am, just living my life, doing what I came here to do, is going to expose all the dumb fuckery. And that and then the fact that we were juxtaposed or put together or this or that, maybe we get nudges to look at your profile, or I don't know. But that thing just means it's correctos, okay? You gotta correct the ways. And if you don't know how to do that, you at least gotta make a wish for that to be correct. First of all, for me, it's easier for my life. Like really, it's easier for my life. Okay? But also, I understand that that's being used, okay, what the intention is. Let's take my real estate agent, okay? He's got only 100 estates. A lot of people try to get at the thing. Now, all they would have to do is get him to sexually harass me, whether verbally or not, get him to do the dumb fuckery energy stuff, and then I backfire on the entire thing. What I didn't take into account is that I backfire also on the other people that had a crooked plan. Okay, so that didn't go as planned, because they thought they're going to use me. I get mad at people who violate sexual boundary violation. They're gonna take him down, gonna move me to another place, and then they're gonna take over the city and do a sex factory there. Now that dumb fuckery is going down, because if I work on the willing consent, I work on the willing consent for myself and for the property, and for the land and for the soil, okay, and for the well water and for the airspace. And everybody, then you have like a sphere of alchemy, okay? You can't enter the sphere. Anything wrong that you do basically backfires. So you immediately have to correct your ways to be in that sphere. Okay? So this is something that I just want to put out there. Because the way a person like me the way they would try to use it is basically they're going to put me there, they're going to put another person there. What sets me off? Sexual boundary violation. I'm going to knock the dumb fuckery off because I don't care. I don't care what your origin, your religion, your I don't care. Okay? And then they think they're going to put me some other place and they're going to take over. But that part backfires. Okay? Because I don't work on the person, I work on the essence. Also within me. This is why when the Me Too came, I was not looking to litigate one person. Yeah, they pissed me off. Of course they pissed me off. But I'm like, okay, they pissed me off. I can get mad at them. What good would it do? I need to recover. Yes, I need to speak. Yeah, I need to say what is the name of everything. What needs to be exposed? Okay, that's going to happen. Okay, but the thing is, I'm not going to hunt them down. Why should I hunt them down, right? Because that's just one person. What I did, you invest all this energy to one person, then you go to the next workplace, to the next degree, then again you deal with that dumbfuckery. Okay, so if the dumbfuckery is like the cult, the MK Ultra, the this, the that, now you attend to the essence. And it's a change from the core. Oh, my mama told me not to be so loud when I record. Try to respect her. Forgot. Okay? And you gotta pay attention, because if you're nudged to say things, unusual things or that, or if you're under my control, I'm gonna correct you as well. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be my mom. You have no idea how many times I correct my mom. Try to make something, tell me something about what I wear. I was like, I'm wearing very well. Don't you remember the time where they gave me these weird pills and I bought all these clothes and then I got a degree? Try to correct my clothing. Okay. So this is where you'd see that happening to you. Like I'm not gonna let you go down with them, right? I'm gonna correct you. So that is something I just want to put out there, okay, for public service. Okay, if anybody runs into my energy, it means that change is about to ensue, and if you have been doing things correctly, or there are some things to refine, you're going to be refining those things, and you're going to get great wealth. I'm not a wealth block. I'm the other way around. I'm not a fertility block. I'm the other way around. And I promise to you that I'm going to tell you something about the toes. So I have hallux valgus, okay? And when you go to doctors, they say you got to have a surgery. And in academia, I ran into a person, and I used to walk barefoot. I ran into a person, and they had a problem with the penis. And then I was reading Men's Health. They were thinking to put like a surgery, like really a surgery, like you put something inside, they can press a button, it's kind of like robotified, I think. But I understood there's something holistic to that, because I understood that case is to do with the cold. That person is not infertile. His body, his diet was okay. He was drinking a lot of alcohol, but he didn't have that on the blood tests. Like he shared that with us. Nothing. It was okay. It was something to do with mental thing. And I said it's not about pressing a button, because he wouldn't enjoy sex. He would just get another rejection, okay? But that's the cult thing. And then eventually I exposed the cult. It wasn't against him. I exposed him, but it wasn't against him, because that was the block. It was like he was manifesting removal of fertility block, of wealth block, of intimacy block. So something he very likely was manifesting in there. And the old ways in which he used to behave with women could not work for the new world, or for fertility, or for whatever would be the next step, okay? And that's why I also didn't sue him, okay? But the thing is that years later, when I would turn to my hallux valgus, the people tell me, oh, you have to put a surgery on, okay? You have to put something to robotify that thing. That's your path. And you need to correct the alignment because it's the blood flow, okay? But it's not about the surgery. It's about changing, okay, allowing the natural space to take on and changing for whatever, for example, the way that I have been oppressed by cults. The fact when I corrected my hallux valgus, I remember the fact that they didn't believe me when I couldn't stand in those Misdar North Korean things they had in Israel. For an hour you stand, just stand orderly, and it's like I couldn't, and physically I couldn't stand. So, yeah, put on surgery, but that would not correct the problem. There's nothing wrong with surgeries. Okay, if you're having a heart attack, then I guess you need to see a doctor, right? But other than that, you got to look at things holistically. So that person may have thought I worked against him, I did not. But the change that needed to ensue, with the removing of that cold dumb fuckery, because what he was assigned to do with me was political assassination. Some guy in Netherlands. And you might not even fully understand it, because if you're a programmer, if you control other people's minds, it means you are controlled. Because I'm not a programmer, because I don't seek to control other people's minds, that I get sovereignty again and again. It's getting less and less easy to control my mind because I'm not setting to control other people's minds. And so what happens is that I correct my toes and I remember all these things. And I see things with the A-bombs and all that kind of stuff. You know, I was born in 84. A couple of years later, I think, I don't remember what was the Chernobyl thingy, but that is waves. You understand? What's Chernobyl from Israel? It's nothing. In terms of waves, it's nothing. We got gravity waves from space. Gravity is a wave. Pluto is about to Aquarius. But you see that thing? If I run into a man and his dick won't do with the cold, very simply, okay? The blood won't flow there with the cold, and that's a blood flow issue. And there's nothing wrong, okay? The blood test of the person perfect. It's not in the blood test. It's something that happens when a person's tried to get aroused, that the cult has programmed him in one way, but the blood won't flow. And that's a fertility thing. Now, if you put the goddamn, if you put the goddamn stick inside it and have a button where you're pushing it out and like, oh, now's erection, now's erection, you're not going to be fertile. You're not going to be able to have children. It's the cold that you need to remove. You need to decultify your pineal gland. That's what's up. And that goes for every interaction with women. It can't be win and lose based. It can't be win and lose based. Okay? If you won in a sex with a woman, you are a rapist. Okay? That's the thing. It can't be cult based. Okay? It can't be any of that. It can't be groomer based. None of that. You can't allow the ego get the best at you. Okay, maybe align your feet, maybe align your toes. I don't know. Okay, but the blood flow. But definitely that brings up things. And then there's grounding, and there's stepping on the barefoot soil, and it's doing all these things for the self to curate. Because the same thing, if you would try to put me in a psych ward, okay, then I run into the same olanzapine that he would get if he would get another heart attack. And I kick that olanzapine out. That's the cult. Pyramidal or extra pyramidal. And that's also the teeth, right? The karma is the teeth, with the structure you're building. And that's basically removing a fertility block. That's the thing. Then you run into a younger psychologist and said, and that psychologist tried to compete with that other person. And I'm like, no, I came to you to recover from that place because I want a healthy relationship. Now you try to compete to be worse than that person. Where your dick's gonna go? Okay? You try to groom women. Where your dick's gonna go? Now, I understand that to return to the body is challenging because then you have to deal with all the things you've been through. That's why women, they would have difficulty to have orgasm because that would bring up some stuff, and they had to be tender with their own self-pleasure, because that would bring up more stuff and more stuff and more stuff, and that is true. But also, it's all the more important not to try to control a partner, especially during sex, because what ends up is that, like happened with my psychologist, okay, I breathe deeply, then if your soul is attached to my soul, that's going to release the dumb fuck out of your system because it's purging something, okay? The cellular memory is purging something through the breathing and the oxygen. There's an alchemy that's happening there. And if you're not ready for that, then you're trying to control me. You brought yourself to even lower point. People, even when people do settings where they're consensually having power exchange, okay, you gotta pay attention to that stuff. If you come to connect with a person, it must be win-win, okay? It must be taking both of you into account. What is best for you, what is best for other person, okay? It's not one on the account of the other. Cannot be. Cannot be. Not only do you not orgasm, but if you orgasm, it's depleted. And then sooner or later, one person is going to break free from that, and then basically you're not volitionally purging your traumas. That's what's happening when you do such a thing. It's going all the way to the sexuality. When you talk about sex espionage, okay, what they do to people, they rape people, then another person comes and they're supposed to have sex with them, and they're supposed to urge them to have, like, with weird, it's very weird to say seduction because they do that to children. But what happens is that naturally the body is going to try to go out of trauma. This is why people, I'm sorry, have erection during rape or arousal during rape or stuff like that, is the body is trying to naturally come out of the trauma. Now, what happens is there's certain alchemy, then information is going to come out energetically, and then they read that energy and they siphon on that energy. This is why willing consent is so important, even when we self-pleasure. Just to put that information out there, okay? And the thing is, the more person try to oppress somebody else sexually, basically it backfires so malefically, and they feel like the victim, where the other person, that just live their lives. Okay, that's a conversation that's important to have. That's a conversation that's really important to have. This is why I stand for having self-pleasure before people sexually interact, because everybody has things to purge, and when two people interact, now you have basically a body made of two on the energy level, and there is growth there, but then there is a linkage that's being created, and it's not a bad thing, but you want that linkage to be created on a willing consent basis for both people, and you want both people to be able to have self-pleasure as well. Okay, that is so trying to keep a person from having self-pleasure is, and trying to force a certain union, that has implications. Okay, that has karmas. And what it is true that they say what you try to control controls you. And it's sometimes not by, okay, they're just doing them, okay, they're just doing them, okay, I'm just doing myself, and somebody tries in and it comes to try to whether they're obsessed or not, what's going to happen is you're going to be exposed. The more I go back and my body's sent, my soul is sent to go back to my body. And the more that you try to take me out of my body, the more centered I actually become, and the more I expose, your dumb fuckery is exposed. And it doesn't matter, the more you try to push and to rape and to constrict, the more, boom! Okay? That explodes on you. And you're gonna, like what you try to do to me, you're gonna be exploding from within, because it's Pluto, Uranus explosion, Pluto from the core. You're gonna be exploding from the core. So instead of having a good orgasm, which is a nice way to explode from the core, okay, and that's important because this is structures falling down. So all the structures, if you try to put me in a structure that's not good for me, you are going to be exploding from within. And you might not survive this explosion. And this is something really important. Because what you're going to get is not the control that you seek. Okay, a free person need not oppress another. So what you're going to get is not the control and power that you seek, but something that's complete inversion of it. And trying to blame me won't work. And it doesn't matter if you try from the breathing or you try from the this, which I have right to protect myself. I have right to protect myself. I, Shirley Tali Jungblood, have right to protect myself, okay? So you try to cause harm to that, you already understand it's 9/11 on those who try from within. And all the structures that you try to build on trying to harm a person like me, it's 9/11. If you build a building, you see, certain parts of the medical institution were building a building upon a person like me being an influencer. They're gonna tell people to take their pill. It's 9/11 on them. And the more you try to push your way into me, the more it's 9/11 on you. And I can identify your energy as well. The more you try to do this dumb fuckery, I identify your energy, okay? And what will naturally ensue is the natural process of my body. Okay, let's take it from the root. Okay, try to get to my bum hole. Okay, what is my bum hole? That's Pluto. I'm going to Pluto square. Okay, try to invade that. What's going to happen? I'm going to have all the realization of how the wealth structures Pluto psychology structures Pluto, mind control structures Pluto, that go to sex espionage Pluto, that go to satanic ritual abuse, I have Pluto co-present with Saturn. And how you still tied into that. So what will help you to be less of a rapey person? Explode the fucking bomb in Brussels! You see, you gotta go tantric on it. That's what I say. And sometimes people can have attraction. You still gotta have willing consent. Especially if you have attraction. If you don't have attraction, you ain't gotta be there. If you have attraction, you gotta have willing consent, you know what I'm saying? But even with the willing consent, what's going to ensue is whatever in your bumhole that's wealth, that's your roots. Let me say it to you outright, okay? That's your roots. Whatever energy you got sitting there, maybe MK Ultra, okay? That shit gonna be purged. And remember, you cannot penetrate without being penetrated. Not in energy, not physically. You try to pollute the air, okay? Just gaslight. Darling, if you try to get into my lungs, you're gonna choke on your own self. And it's your own self, because it's not my breathing. You try to constrict my breathing, okay? From the root, constrict it from the root. No, I'm going to reconnect with my root. What's happening with you? I don't know what sexual traumas you have over there. Okay? You should have thought about it before you tried to rape my anus, even astrally. Want to say it outright? Try to siphon on my sexual energy or of what not? I don't know. But this time you gotta redirect your energy, okay? Because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna think, okay, how do I block this? How do I remove? I remember that time where it was a Friday night, and there was so many assaults. So I was working in Scorpio talisman, reverting the assaults, and that was so difficult. And then I find out that I was supposed to be sex espionage to be used to assassinate Peter the Vries. 2-3 days before his birthday. So what's gonna happen, okay? If you manage to penetrate me, then what happens is alchemy now. So I expose all of your traumas, because now I deal with them, right? What did I say about Mars opposing Pluto? Is the trauma of male raping male, especially for young boys and power figure. So if you have been re-traumatizing yourself by trying to rape my anus, then you're basically re-traumatizing yourself. Okay, you know what I mean? Because now all these memories, even if you, let's say you orgasm, okay, what happens is that your body is going to be releasing that same trauma. Now you feel like I raped you when you were the rapist. This is how you become to feel like a victim when you are rapist, because you were raped. Then you had orgasm, you have dissociation. Now you think of it as though I raped you. I did not. You were the rapist. And now I have to speak, and publicly, because it's an outer planet, Pluto. And everybody that reads energy know who was that energy that was trying to rape my anus right now astrally? They read into that energy. I said what I said. Okay? And you're gonna have to ask yourself a lot of questions right now, because why the fuck were you doing that when in other circumstances you could get there tantrically and that would maybe go, right? Because like, hey, if you weren't trying to rape me, then maybe there could be something between us. I don't know, okay? But if you come at me trying to rape me, it doesn't matter. Even if I was attracted to you before, then what happens now? Now I have to recover from that rapey pattern. And everything that creates that laser focused with Robert Caro. because you know that I'm about to say that. And you remember how it started with me sharing the true Diverstigen one, okay, with Brussels. Now you're sitting in Brussels. Okay? It's very simply put. You're re-traumatizing yourself when you do that, because that's the thing. You're not traumatizing me. To me, it's like, hey, that bothers me. I'm going to speak my way out of it. I'm going to expose the damn fuckery. I'm going to do what I need to do to change that. For you, it's like, damn. Because I know you've been in that Disneyland, okay, with the satanic ritual abuse with Lars. And I'm like, what's now? Okay, what now? So you're going to be replaced by robots? That's the thing? That and every energy. Because I was seeing the two rivers. Okay. Two families conjoined. What I was thinking today, two families conjoined. Okay. The Fries family, Rute family. I saw it like two rivers that go to the same ocean. Because I said, now we're talking about it. Remind me of the astrology, right? Saturn's going to go over Peter's chart. Again, midheaven and Mars. And then, who's getting a Saturn return second time in his life? I'm not going to say the P word, but it's Mark Rutte. It's like it's a 5 years old child, just like, is she gonna say it? Is she gonna say it? Is she gonna say it? But that thing is major. Like, everybody's been in all those weird rings and shit. This is so weird. When you read energies, you already begin to, you take a look, you see a person, okay, you see their physique, and then you read the energy, you can connect the energy to the physique. It's something very weird that I can't. And you haven't met these people in your life, okay? So, yeah, what now? Fine. But this is what's going to be happening. Saturn is now direct, okay? It's 12 degrees. Easy on the guillotine. Then it's gonna go 18 degree, which is the degree of poison, midheaven for Peter. Then it's gonna go 20 degree, Mars of Peter. Okay, that's ruling the moon, that's ruling his ascendant. Then it's gonna go over somebody's Mercury. Oh, it's gonna go. Oh my God, no. Everybody now just needs to say that. Okay, through Diverstigen. It's gonna be like that. Let's begin with Trudy Verstigen, okay? So she shared. It's going out now. It's going out. She shares the picture of the people that have been cloned, okay? And then there was Lars' testimony, and then she was sharing a picture of Mark Rutte in Brussels, I think with Mark the Peter Ringer, and that was 1996, and the title went Peter Rutte. Saturn's gonna go over that Mercury. But now I just think about it, the truth that has the Venus 18 degree Pisces, somebody wants to be mentioned. Conjuncting Peter's midheaven. The freeze don't watch. Not next to the children. There's a silent G in the room. Okay. Blame Trudy. And free the children, for goddamn. But that's the thing, because Saturn's gonna go over that 18 degree Pisces, and I saw that. I saw like two rivers clashing into an ocean. It's not clashing. It's like, it's like the rivers streaming into an ocean, and I'm like, why am I getting the freeze and the root, the freeze and the root? And I'm like, of course, because there's a midheaven, 18 degrees for Peter, with that 18 degrees Venus for Rute, and Saturn's gonna go over there. And that's the juncture. But when I was looking, because I was getting, do a Rute, okay, do the chart for Peter Rute, for Mark Rute. That was another P there. Anyway, I was getting this episode's gonna be interesting. I was getting that, and then I was seeing like, then I went just to look at footage of Mark Rutte, and I was looking at footage for when Peter died, and it was like, you saw that he's genuinely sad. So I'm like, he's one of ours. Okay, so so then, and I felt like I'm in the beginning, I felt like, I'm judging you too much. And then I learned about like all this, like the dots began to connect. But then Saturn's gonna go over Peter's Mars, and then Rutte's Mercury, and then when Saturn gets to 28 degrees Pisces, and then it's gonna go over my Senate, of course, and then as it's 24 degree Pisces next to that Mercury, and then it's around my Lilith, fuck it, and then it's gonna go with and be the Saturn return 28 for Mark Rutte. Okay. We talked about conserving energy. What was it? Okay. So it's gonna be very fascinating. I got a feeling that that's not next to the children what's going to ensue. That's just very fascinating. Anyway, keep calm and abolish expandable children praxis. That's what's up.